So this class is going to focus on follower cicadas. We've done a couple of classes now on leader cicadas. So we may work that into this class, but the main focus of it is on the follower cicadas. So we're sort of flipping the script here in that usually what we want to do for the leader cicadas is I lead her to go and then I go. But here in this step, I have to go and then lead her to go. And I have to create space for her to enter into. So here, we're going to start with just a very simple one, which is going to the cruzada, going to the cross here in parallel system. I'm leading her to change weight here. First off, let's deal with that a little bit, because normally when we go to the cross, we're going step, 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 and change weight together there. What I'm doing here is I'm going to lead her to change weight there without me. So how do I do that? I do it with a small settling. So I step with my left here, she crosses, and then I settle ever so slightly in my left leg, and that causes her to change weight. Now, I want to use her back leg, her right leg, to do the sacada on my side step. So I'm going to give just a teeny tiny, see how small that is, just teeny tiny pivot for her there. If I overdo this, then she's going to turn her hips, and then we'll be doing forward cross or forward ojo. So there, settle, invite her to unwind. Now, I'm going to take a side step, and as I take that side step, I'm going to keep my hips and my feet straight, okay? As I take the side, I'm going to turn my upper body, again, very slightly, just enough so that she feels that this is where the space is being created. And then part of the follower's responsibility in this dance is to fill up space. So if we create space, she feels that space. And she steps through just like we do with our forward sacada. She extends her legs straight. So not with a bent knee. If she went with a bent knee here, she'd be running into my leg. She goes a straight foot, straight leg, through my line, and then collapse. One of the most common mistakes here for the leaders is too much pivot here, and then going sort of back and diagonal. See, and Shelley stepped in the middle of my step here. That's because I invited her to pivot, and now her hips are here, and so that's where she's going to want to step. What I want to do is keep her hips straight. There. I'm not going to turn this foot or my hips during this first part of the step. If I did, see, this would happen. She would almost be taking sort of a side sacada, and she would start pivoting herself. I don't want her to pivot. I want her just to step. So I'm thinking, this is where I want her to go. This is where I'm creating the space. Okay? Well, now, I'm going to keep leading her straight, and we can do a simple rock step and return to dancing. And return. Okay. If I get to here and I turn, then she's going to turn, and that's going to turn into a back cross. That's a different step. That's a nice step. Here, let's do that. So we got a forward sacada from her, and then finished in a turn. Now we're going to look at a slightly different step, because we're going to have her do a Sacada on me and then me do a Sacada on her. In fact, I take it back. I had her do a Sacada on me and then I did 2 Sacadas. So first, it's her Sacada to my side open. Then, I let her go straight, and I did a Sacada on her forward cross. Then, I kept the turn going, and I did a Sacada on her side open. Now we're done, and we could switch right and go to the cross or go out and cross system, however you're at, so it's up to you. One thing we talk about is that really good tango, I think, comes from 2 pieces. First, we have to learn the technique, and then we have to take that technique and create a flow. First, let's worry about the technique. So we're going to stop after each step. So we find those moments, and we find our balance. So here, I should be facing Shelley, and we should both be balanced. Then, I lead her to step, I do the Sacada, we find our balance. And here we find our balance, then we can exit. So again, all together. Something else that we want to do is when we're having a Sacada, for her, for example, I'm leaning her here. I'm not going to pull this foot. See, I started pulling that foot very quickly and she stepped on me. No. Now, of course, this is easy for the for the leaders, because I know I'm leading her for a Sacada. So I know to leave my foot here for her to step through. Okay, but here, for the followers, it's more difficult. So Shelley's technique here, and we've covered this in the last 2 classes, is that she steps, she extends, she transfers, and only after she's completely transferred is her foot going to start collecting. Okay, so I have to be ready with my timing to step in there. So I feel her extending, transferring, that's when I start to step, so that I can be there, stepping through, before she starts collecting. This also requires on the follower's part to not rush the collection. And to take nice steps. Yeah, take bold steps. Not stretching. Stretch the steps. If you went 2. Yeah. I mean, she's not. Yeah, it's not that. Take a normal size step, but take a nice normal step.
Get up on axis.
And Shelley's saying to get up on your axis after each step, before collecting. And just like with the followers, when they receive a Sacada, I'm not going to pull this foot this way. I'm going to let it go around. See, just like here, Shelley, our foot's going to go around in an arc. Around in an arc. A lot of times we'll find people tripping during Sacadas, because they're trying to bring that foot forward instead of letting it arc around. Another place to start with follower Sacadas is just from forward ochos. So here, let's say I'm stepping here, and I want Shelley to do another forward ocho. Well, I'm going to send the energy around her supporting leg, right? And I'm going to do that to the point where her hips are pointed in the direction that I want her to step next. Now, if I want a Sacada, I'm just going to stop her here because I want her to step straight. Okay? Ocho, Sacada. Ocho, Sacada. So I want to be very, as a leader, I'm always thinking and preparing, you know, what do I want us to do next? And of course, as a follower, Shelley has to be in the moment. She doesn't know what's coming next. So did he stop here? Or did he keep going around and invite more of a pivot? So practice these variations, and then we move on to more advanced follower Sacadas.